Pump and Powell does not disappoint. New all-time closing high yesterday. End of the quarter imbalances. Little extra juice in the market. Apple's raining our parade a little bit. We'll discuss that. We got some interesting ratings changes. We got Adam Mesh, a Michigan grad, coming on from T3. T3 Tuesday at 8:35. It's Tuesday. We got a little surprise for you guys today. It's pre-market prep.
Welcome to Benzinga's pre-market prep.
This is a volatile puppy here.
It's all about execution styles and strategies.
All right, good morning, traders and investors. We're in the red just by a little bit here after that new all-time closing high yesterday at $14.50. The buck, it's up 32 cents. A little rally here off a triple bottom. TLT up 58 cents, finally getting away from that $98 level, 98.68. Crude in the red, down 53 cents, 67.64. Gold just wouldn't have it with a couple down days in a row. Now up 14.30 at 26.74.40. Silver, that's up 21 cents, 31.66. Bitcoin recovering from yesterday's hit, up $305 at 64,050. It's Tuesday. I said I had a surprise for you. First, we'll bring in Triple D. Triple D looking sharp there. And also filling in for AB as expected. Monday Night Football in Detroit. AB out late at night with his first excused absence ever. We're bringing in Ryan Faluna. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Joel. Thanks for having me on again. It's good to be back with the crew. I will say I know Aaron's off today because he probably enjoyed that game. At least the Lions brought home a W.
Yeah, big W. Big W.
And the Tigers. And Tigers here tonight. Like it's like this weekend in Detroit. Holy, the sports that are coming. And then the Red Wings start next week. I mean, how do you get better than this right now? So Tigers, Lions, the Wings coming. We won't worry about the Pistons, but big times, good times for the D.
I'll tell you what, hockey season's my favorite start. A lot of people don't know that because I'm such a football junkie, but I played hockey when I was younger. I can't wait. Really? Red Wings and Blackhawks. Let's go, Dennis.
Can I ask you one question, Ryan?
Yeah, of course.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
And can you be honest with me?
Yeah, of course.
Because we're honest here on pre-market prep. Do you wish the Bears would have taken Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams?
No, definitely not. I think it's really important to not let your eyes wander to what somebody else has. In fact, if you want me to answer that question honestly, I would have rather we hired Cliff Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels' offensive coordinator, who we had in the effing building before letting him go. No, Caleb's the better player. He's going to be the more robust player. I believe he's going to have the better career. He's progressing every week with a defensive coach and a ramshackle offensive line. No, we're good.
Oh, okay, man. Very, very good. Great answer. Okay, where do you want to start?
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, we got to start. We got to start with Apple. We got to start with the channel checks here.
So what we have, just overnight, actually not even overnight, just this morning here.
7 a.m.
Qs were trading up. Bring up the Qs, Churchill. Apple's trading up. Everything was going well. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty good morning. And then Barclays comes out and basically rains on the parade. Barclays channel checks are indicating that iPhone 16 builds are likely indicative of weak demand. They're cutting. It appears, at least with Barclays, looks like they're cutting iPhone 16 production due to weak demand. Coming from Barclays, we don't have any confirmation of this, but this is the second time that we've heard about weak demand for the new Apple iPhones. We heard about it a couple weeks ago. Stock got hit and then immediately got forgiven, and they forgot about it, and they took the stock back up to near all-time highs. So now the second time it comes out, do they forgive it again? Does it go the same thing that we did 2 weeks ago where they knock it back, knock it down, and then all of a sudden 2 days later they forget about it? It's like, oh, we still love Apple because it's got the whole AI story coming. I don't know what the answer to that question is. I don't know if anybody does, but right now Apple's down $3 in the pre-market, and it's dragged the Qs along with it.
This is the second time. Okay, maybe it's the second time with this version of the phone. But if I had a nickel for every time one of these analysts came out with their channel checks and said they were, come on, we hear this every quarter or every time they have a new release. You hear someone come out negative on it. So, here, this is having a pronounced effect. The market had a big day yesterday. You are on go quick technicals. Those don't look at those 8 a.m. prints. They're horrible.
Horrible.
Your pre-market low stands at 229.44. You've hit that 2 times. I call that minor support. You can just look at your daily lows here. But if you're looking for more, like if this is really, really bad news, then I would expect to see, Friday's low at 227.30. So there's some targets coming back on the upside. You haven't even taken out yesterday's low yet. You haven't, because we had the big rally at 29.65 was the low. So I guess, Dennis, from that, we can kind of go into the imbalances from the close yesterday, because that's the reason Apple tacked on all that juice at the end of the day.
I want to stop
Yeah.
you real. I want to stop
Yeah.
you real quick though, Joel, because I'm glad that you said this about Apple. How many times have we heard about channel checks and then the stock always ends up going higher? In fact, this is something that I've actually been trading around my core position since 2015. So I'm actually looking for entry here. Maybe use the October 235 calls, but we'll see what we get filled on.
Nice.
So you're looking to buy the dip. We got to buy the dipper
Absolutely.
here. Ryan Faluna is a buy the dipper on this. And you know what? We've talked about this on pre-market prep. There may be no better strategy out there than buy the dip in the long run, especially in the U.S. markets. Didn't work so well in China for a long time. Obviously worked in the last couple of weeks. But buy the dip has worked in the U.S. markets on good companies. I don't know if the valuation's reasonable, but it has worked on Apple forever because Apple's right up near all-time high. So I won't argue with that strategy. I won't fight that strategy. I might sit it out on this one on Apple, but I get what you're preaching here, Ryan.
Just do it until it doesn't work. Eventually, this trade's not going to work. At that point,
Yeah,
I'll
but
take
that's
my
true
lump. But it's
too.
been working for years, bro. So that's what it is.
That's true too. Yeah, doing strategies. Once you get a strategy that seems to work for you, continue to do it until it doesn't work. That's great. That is a great strategy in itself. Just doing something until it stops working. But a couple other stocks we just want to move, and you were going to say about the imbalances at the close, Joel. We did have the end of the quarter. Apple did rip up on its closing imbalance along with a lot of other stocks. It was about, at about 345, all the stocks got launched. At 350, the closing imbalance came out. There was a lot to the buy side, and they ripped up the overall market. The S&P ripped 20 handles in the last 10 minutes. There was just a plethora of stocks that were just ripping higher on the close. Often you see these imbalance moves when they have these are more order flow based. People at the end of the quarter want to be in these stocks, looking show it on their books.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you do see these moves get retraced, so it's usually a fade. Nothing works 100% of the time, but you're seeing the S&P hold up fairly well actually this morning. I'm actually impressed with the S&P strength, Joel, and you got to kind of be impressed with it too, because you got Apple down 3 sticks. You had a ripper end of the close. The market was down after hours last night. And then the overnight markets, though, we popped up again. So S&P's holding up fairly well, considering there's some pretty bad news out there. Japan rally doesn't hurt either.
All right. Real good stuff there.
From Joel. I thought he was going to talk about some technical.
Well, I was just going to. No. I guess we talked about it on the pre-market show. We were up there nicely this morning. It really was. We were up 3-4 handles even after that rally from yesterday, and then Apple knocked it off its keysters. So the reason I'm not giving any levels is because I can give you a level in the S&P, and there's only one number, 58.30. That's 15, almost 20 handles away. That's your all-time high. That's the only level I can give you, and I want to close above 14.50. That was all-time closing high from yesterday. So that's it.
I do have to tell you, they're mentioning the SMCI split. It looks weird. When I look at Super Micro Computer right now at $42, it just looks wrong. It looks like, oh my God, what happened to my stock? It looks just wrong. But it's $42. They probably wish they didn't do that reverse split because the stock started to try to do that split. The stock split on its own. We know from all the negative headlines that have happened over SMCI over the course of the last 2 months. But it looks here at $42, and it's like, wow, that is just sticker shock to just look at it. It looks weird.
Feels like you're missing a
Split.
zero, honestly. Feels
It
like
looks
you're missing
well,
a zero.
and it is. It is exactly missing a zero. So SMCI volume is going to be huge now at $42.
Yeah.
You know, another reason they do the splits, they jack the volume too. It does jack up the volume. You want to see more shares traded, split these stocks, and they trade 10 times more volume. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, look at all the action in SMCI. Well, yeah, well, it's not really trading more dollar volume. It's just trading more shares. More shares are good for the exchanges. They make more money when you trade more shares. So they like the splits. 424,000 shares already traded on
Wow.
SMCI this morning. So there's been some action there.
Technically speaking, this is, I think you got to throw out the old playbooks where they, a lot of times like they go down after splits because this has been going down into the split here. Look at that CMG crawling back. You remember, like you guys, I know I took some heat on being bearish to Starbucks. Everyone's been pumping that. But that CMG has had a nice rally. Back to SMCI here. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be more of a day trading stock. You'll probably get some better patterns to look at. So if you're a pattern recognition trader, see if you get a double bottom or something to form like that and then move on it here. They hit it. The news on this one, you see that big red candle? That's when they came out with the news again about the investigation, and they whooped it that day. But that day ended up actually being the low of the move. So you got a little bit of a base here. Next daily high, way up at 43.80 if you're looking for yesterday's high in SMCI.
Joel, what do you call that formation there on the monthly? You're the chart guy. What do you call that formation?
Ski slope?
Bull? Double black diamond bull?
Acapulco cliff diving? I mean, now it's Red Bull. But holy mackerel, I mean, that is just what a fall from grace there. Dennis, you're flat that thing now, right?
I think I have a small position left. Like it's like 0.2% of my long-term portfolio or something. I left a very small legacy position on, which I probably should have just sold it all, just get out of it and move on. It was my best stock for the whole first half, and then I should have never went back in. And I went back in, nibbled back in. I was like, oh yeah, I sold at 960. I'll rebuy some at 700. Scalping myself 260 points. And obviously, a lot of bad news has happened since then. So I should have stayed away, but I did not, and I lost a little bit on it the second time around. But I did really well on it the first time around, though. So,
and I still think you guys were. I still think you guys had it pegged. When you start seeing accounting issues and investigations, it's time to run for the hills. Dennis, I saw you saying that morning. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good.
I took the loss. Like I had a full size position on when that news happened, and I sold the dip. Like it was down like $30, and I was like, I've got to sell this.
You were just hitting bids
down $130. So, I mean, there's just certain points in time where there actually is a reason to sell the dip. And I don't know where that price was. It screws you up when it's split here now. I feel like it was like at like 570 or something, or 550. It was like 600 that day. And then the news came out and it was 500 and 400. Maybe I'm losing handles even here. It might have even been. I think what happened, actually, I'm remembering it now. So the first one was the short seller came out with the report. And then the next day was the actual that they were delaying their filing, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, they can't be doing that. If you see that there's truth to this, you got to get out. So we still don't know if there's shenanigans happening here or not. But whenever you hear accounting issues, Kramer always says that accounting issues equals sell. I think that I agree completely with that.
Yeah,
don't mess with it. You can't believe the books. You can't believe anything.
Yeah, I would say for you long-term investors in this, if you're stuck on something, until this thing I'm going to call it 48.5 because there's so many. That was like that. All these highs, that's the middle of it. I think that's just major resistance. That's ahead of all the bad news, ahead of the split. So if you're playing it here for a swing trade and you want to, risk down to the low of the move at 37.30, man, that $48, and they're gonna have, and I think in order to get to $48 is like they're gonna have to come out and say, hey, everything's kosher, and it never moves up as much as it moved down. So that's a
Never.
longer to
They
never.
come back. Even if they come out and say, yeah, everything's good, the investigations are all good, they never come back as much as they move down. That's Wall Street math for you there.
That sounds about
We
right.
went on a
Nasty.
tangent there from SMCI, but we had a lot of other stories to talk about, Ryan. Go to our list and see what's next. I think we actually went on 3 tangents there, and we only covered 1 stock on our list.
That's what we do here on Pre-Market Prep. But let's talk about the CVS breakup. We're talking about maybe spinning off the retail and the insurance division. So what's going on here with CVS?
Well, and it had some activist action just a couple days ago there. So we talked about this on the show. Yesterday. And I guess those activists work fast there, Joel, because let's just go to our trusty Benzinga Pro. Ryan could even show it if he wants to, but goldfish memory here. I'm trying to grab the actual CVS Health and focus as the activist prepares for high-level talks. So those high-level talks must have went pretty well here, apparently, because they're talking now about breaking up the company. Market, Wall Street loves breakups. This is just a rumor, nothing confirmed here yet. I think it was it WSJ? Was it WSJ with the rumor? I may be making that up, but I think it was WSJ with the rumor here.
Let's see. Yeah, I've got the rumor here. I don't know where this one came from. Sorry about that. You might be right. It's Glenview Capital Management is that firm that you're talking about.
Yes.
That's the investor there.
Yeah, so, and this is a beaten down stock. It's been beaten down for a long time. CVS has been a dog of all dogs. Go in the monthly charts and you can just look in the top right corner, and the stock has been going straight down for basically 3 years now. $110 back in 2022. It's had its own 2-for-1 stock split that it gave to itself. I mean, we talked yesterday, WBA I absolutely hate. My commentary yesterday was, I don't think, like everybody is saying, WBA next. I don't think so, because I think no activist wants to even bother with WBA. The issues are too big at WBA, but I think they think a turnaround story is possible at CVS. It's going to be some heavy lifting. There's a lot going on here wrong, but I mean, breaking up maybe is the right thing to do. So the investors are definitely applauding that rumor here this morning.
Yeah, going back to the CVS chart, it got a little ahead of it.
Oh, there he is.
Did I go on mute?
No, you're good.
No, I'm not.
You're good. You're good. Sorry.
It's in this gappy area, up to 66.92. Just going from yesterday's trading, going back here in the chart on the left. You did have the pop in the pre-market. They sold it off, but couldn't get to the top of yesterday's range. I'd use that pre-market high as a target once again. I believe that would turned out to be an after-hours high at 64.96. But you got the momentum. You got the activists behind it. So finally, a positive catalyst here for CVS. Walgreens, I looked at it once yesterday, and it hardly moved. It had a very small candle after a decent update on Friday. So maybe there's getting a little bit of interest, but that's only until it comes out with more bad news.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this WBA chart is super sad for me. Joel, if you've been around Chicago at all, you've been to Walgreens, and they have bailed you out of a few emergencies. So to see the stock just absolutely getting crushed down here, CVS looks a lot better. It looks like we actually might fill that gap too.
Yep, got a little momentum.
Yeah.
Just quick market update.
I think I'm having problems with my internet.
Really?
I think he's a little bit delayed there. I hear him okay. He's not breaking up.
Chat's not complaining. You guys are breaking up for me. So Rogers added again here. Am I breaking up when I'm speaking?
No, you're not breaking up, but you do feel a little bit delayed. So maybe it's just kind of a latency thing there.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We work through problems here.
I don't know. I'm having problems with my internet here today again.
Speaking of problems,
so
Joe,
go, guys. I'm going to try to reset. I've got to try to reset because you're breaking up too bad for me. I'll be back.
Joel, he's got problems. Let's talk about something else that has problems. Let's talk about this rumored Boeing offering. Excuse me, $10 billion through a stock sale. What's going on here with Boeing?
Oh man, I mean, this is just a bad news stock of bad news. They actually should change the symbol to BAD instead of BA, because there's nothing. Is there a BAD? I don't.
I'm checking right now. That was too good to not. No, it was an old ETF. It's open, Joel. Let's do it.
I mean, come on, an offering now And now with this, I'm not sure what
Rumor. I bet.
rumor,
Just a rumor.
rumor.
It's a rumor. $10 billion rumor, though. Like they're talking about 10 billion. I don't know if it's shares. I think it's dollars, obviously. I hope
Yeah, it's $10 billion. That is the rumor.
Shares. But the rumor, I mean, this is what we talk about Boeing all the time, and hopefully my internet's better here now. This is what we talk about all the time is like this stock starts to show some life, and then they get harpooned by another negative headline. It just cannot get away from the cycle of negative headlines. Stock is sitting near a 52-week low. We're not down to where we were in 2020. We're not down to where we were in 2022, but we are lower than we were in 2023. Obviously, the stock was $435 back in 2019. This has just been a place where money goes to die. I don't know if it turns around anytime soon. Dumpster fire is the word, Paul. This has been a dumpster fire.
Next monthly support level, that's all I could give you. I mean, if you want to drill down on the weeklies, oh boy, 141.54. That was your low back in November of 2022. Just for let's do a little weekly thing, and the weeklies don't help you out either here, folks. So pre-market low, you are on, like you could tell it was a rumor because they whacked it to 146.58, and now you're $4.50, $5 above it. So you're gonna, I think, if you want to buy this, you're gonna have to buy it into a falling market, or not like a rapidly declining market, but a copy. Oh, I should have been out there at 147. Let me check for yesterday's low. 151.24. That could easily fill the gap in Boeing. And is Airbus, I mean, is this picking up any other companies that make no, what's Airbus? Is that got a long symbol in it?
Yeah, it's an ADR trades as over here.
Yeah. Is it helping any of the other makers?
Well, there's
Plane
only one other
makers?
one. It's Airbus.
And we
And
don't
it trades as an ADR, so I don't know. I don't even know what the symbol is over here.
Yeah, that's
Airbus
what
ticker ADR.
EADSY, maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
EADSY trading as an. You may
That's
be able
even-
to bring that up, Joel.
That ain't looking so good either.
No, it looks head and shouldery. That looks bad too.
Huh.
Looks like it's got
All right.
dandruff.
Well, this just goes back to my theory that they're going to be making smaller planes in the future. Remember? Remember that?
When Tesla comes out, Tesla should come out with a
Yeah.
plane. You know
Electronic
what,
plane.
Musk? Honestly, come out with an electric plane. We want the electric plane. Yeah. This is a good segue. This is a good segue into Tesla.
This is the winner, ERJ, Dennis.
Okay,
There's
there
your
you
winner.
go. Sure.
Okay. I bet you they make smaller planes.
Are you guys into the eVTOL at all? The personal pilots like Archer and Joby and all of that stuff that's years
They're
off?
all too small for us.
Okay.
We don't normally
Well,
trade
Joel's
that
talking about
stuff,
smaller
but
planes. I'm just making sure.
I know the Joby story. Multiple users have reached out to me with this. Joby Aviation. That's the helicopter air taxi service company. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool story.
I think it's so far off, though.
There's a lot of cool stories, a lot of these small cool stories, but again, that's exactly it. They're so far off from making money. The problem is these things, continue. They get a good pop on a story and then they leak. And it's hard because some of these stories, we know a great story doesn't make a great company. So, it's a lot. Blade, you got them all up there. Is there possibilities that one of these could emerge? Maybe, but I'll get more interested when they start to emerge. Other than that, I kind of stay away because these are hopes and dreams. I mean, these penny stocks, when you get them under $5, they're hopes and dreams. I typically stay away from stocks. The only one that I am in right now, and this is not, but as a speculative play, is Intuitive Machines. I bought the LUNR on the Nassau contract. I'm up a little bit, and I bought it 740, I think. So it's up slightly there. That's the only one I've been playing really from a spec. Like if I'm looking at my portfolio, I don't have a lot of specs. I got the Lunar. I also have a little piece of the Rocket too, the Rocket Lab. Zoe Trader was reaching out on that one. I got a little piece of that one too. So a couple small specs, but typically those are less than 1% of my portfolio, the spec plays.
All right, don't get Dennis started on self-driving planes or full.
Sounds like a cool idea. Which brings us to previewing Tesla here. So it is a good segue. We're not going to have a whole Tesla show here today. I tweet enough about it. I don't want to get thrown off the show by Ryan, but we do have Tesla deliveries coming up here this morning. They usually come out after 9 o'clock. So we're sitting here waiting anxiously to see. I don't know if anybody else has the time. Let me know. I'm holding I haven't sold any stocks. I've sold none. So I'm planning on holding through the delivery numbers. I'm holding my core Tesla position for a long time. But I'm oversized right now, and I mean like oversized to like it's 4 times the size of a normal position right now. So I'm very big in Tesla. What I consider lightening up ahead of Robotaxi Day. Well, let's see what it does. I mean, we still have 6 days of information coming until 10/10. So I think we got to wait to actually see, what it does. Does it run up heavy into the event? What's the bar? That'll be for analysis there. But I'm planning on holding the core position. I don't intend to sell any Tesla stock here ahead of these delivery numbers today, though.
Coming back up on the high of the move. That's what you got to keep an eye on. One number. Dennis likes one number and one number only. And that number is, survey says, 271. And I believe that the closing high of the move was substantially lower than that. The closing high of the move, 263.26. So keep an eye on that. Actually, there was a pair of closes right in this 262, 263 area. So that's been your best mark in Tesla. I mean, obviously you had that mark in earlier in the year, but it's been a long ways. Late 2023 is the last time Tesla's been up in this area.
Talking the autos to staying with them. We have a big upgrade here this morning. We got Goldman Sachs upgrading Ford to buy. This is a contrarian call. I love contrarian calls. I don't always agree with them, but I love them because there's so many lemon calls where stock goes up 10% and then they upgrade it. This is a complete contrarian call from Ford. It's in the gutter. The stock's near the lows, and they're saying there's some hope here. They raised the price target from $12 to $13. I had the note, but I'm too lazy to go bring it up here right now. But basically, it was a valuation call when I read the note. It felt like it was, they said the stock's trading 5 times earnings, which is the lower end of its range. They talked about, some other, possible prospects there with the vehicles. So even talked a little EV in there too. But they think the stock's got potential to go to 13. I'll throw it to you guys. I'm staying away from this one.
Yeah, I'll take it first here. I've actually looked at Ford before. I've traded Ford. This has actually been all right if you own the stock to sell upside calls against. Right now, though, we've kind of dipped into a range here. I'm looking at between 977 and 1135. That 13 call really only makes sense if we pop out of that 11 and 1135 range and retake 12.
Boy, a little bit of analyst battles here, right? And Adam Jonas, I mean, he put the hurt to GM. It got the pop, the rebound. Someone else was picking on GM yesterday. Ford, I mean, right now, you're at 1079. I mean, if you're looking to, there's definitely room up to 11. Pair of highs 11. There's probably like 2 million in the book at 11. So that's your resistance once it takes it out. Ford, I mean, it's up 23 cents. Not a bad start to the day. It's above the top of yesterday's range. And a lot of times you'll see a quick dip. If the sellers are coming in, a quick dip off the open, you take it unchanged or the top of yesterday's range, 1060. And let's see if you can get through that $11 roadblock. There was some more bad news out of Stellantis. They're stopping some car because of weak demand. They were going to stop making it in October. Now it's November. Just no interest in Stellantis here after the gap down day. Yesterday's low 1376, and GM chart is, wow, that is all over the map here. Getting a little boost. No good level to give you in GM.
It is never don't trust Benzinga, because I asked the team, I'm like, when is test deliveries? They're like, it's Wednesday. But Gene Munster was on CNBC saying it's Tuesday. CNBC said it was Tuesday. It has been confirmed it is Wednesday. The pro team is right again there. So my bad saying it was today. I saw Gene, I saw CNBC mention it, multiple people. As soon as CNBC mentioned it, then everybody's talking about the deliveries being today. This was yesterday. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we're wrong. So I actually verified with the pro team, and the pro team still said, no, they're Wednesday. I'm like, well, everybody's saying it's Tuesday. So it is confirmed now. It is Wednesday. So Benzinga Pro, right again. CNBC, wrong.
Oh, and don't forget about that.
There you go.
Don't
Okay.
forget about the free charger that Ford's throwing in there for you.
Oh
On
yes, free
some
chargers. We
models,
like
I
free
don't
chargers.
think it's all models though.
It's
Free.
not, but you know what's interesting about that free charger? It's on some of the popular ones like the E-Mustang and the Lightning truck, which I guess surprises me. I would think some of those hotter models it wouldn't be thrown in there, but you're right, a free home charger for some of those popular models.
They all want to talk the port strike here too. We only got 2 minutes before we get our guest coming on.
Yeah.
Here, they all want to talk the port strike, and this is, it's now official. They are on strike. What does it mean? Retailers going to get hit with this. Obviously, you think about, your big retailers. You can think about your Costco's and your Walmart. You can think about a lot of different stocks that can be affected by this. Definitely it can impact retailers, and it's a supply chain issue. Now, some people are saying it could get solved quickly. Some people are saying it's going to be a long one. I mean, what are you saying, Ryan? What do you think on this thing?
So I don't know the length of it. We actually have a gentleman in our happy hour that's connected to the longshoremen, and even he doesn't have an idea of how long this can last. The big thing is going to be how many of these companies tried to front run this, right? How many tried to get some of their shipments in early? What kind of inventory glut is this going to create for them if the strike is resolved soon? I don't know about you guys, but I went to Costco on Saturday. There were literally 3 aisles of Christmas stuff already. It was September, folks. September. So they're obviously
skipped
getting
Halloween
some of this stuff early.
Straight to Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
I mean, it's wild. So my thought here, I don't know like the initial play here. My thought is going to be what companies are going to be affected and by how much if this thing is resolved. How much pull through, how much early shipments did some of these companies get? I don't even know if we're going to get an answer on that.
I heard that there was a lot of that. There's a lot of pre-shipments coming in. I mean, it's horrible timing. I mean, coming into the holiday season. I did a minimal amount of research here looking at ports and shipping companies, and a lot of them weren't here. So I don't know. I think this is something that you got to keep an eye on. And obviously, the longer it goes, the more negative effect it's going to have on the economy. But it's really, I mean, if Dennis doesn't have a direct play, a sympathy play, is there a stock?
No, you haven't asked me. I do.
You do?
So yeah, FedEx and UPS. So air freight. So talking about obviously they have they can ship air freight. So FedEx is trading up $2 here this morning. I think that's the reason here is the strike is official here. So this was Barron's actually, and it's a good call by Barron's. On the weekend they were talking about this. You should know this, Joel. You read your Barron's, but they were talking FedEx and UPS might benefit actually from this. We're actually seeing that this morning because FedEx is up $2 and UPS is trading up about 40 cents here. So with the market trading down, and you can clearly also see the FedEx and UPS have kind of been running up into this to a certain extent as well. So this, maybe you see FedEx, UPS gain from this.
Okay.
Hard to put oil on one of those airplanes, but anyways, we'll figure it out.
Maybe that's why oil's down.
And that's the other thing. How many of these companies actually don't get their shipments via ship and actually have to fly them in? Are they going to pass that cost on to the consumer? I would think so.
And that's why they're saying FedEx and UPS could benefit because they have that capacity to bring those shipments in through the air. So, and Adam Mesh is in the background here, folks. So we got T3 Tuesday here coming at you. Adam's waiting. Let's get his comments.
Let's go ahead and get to our guest.
Good morning, Adam Mesh of the Adam Mesh Trading Group over there for T3. Adam, this guy's got a perma smile. You got a smile there. Just real quick, I'm going to bore Dennis. I'm going to bore Ryan. I'm going to bore our chat. But you know what the key to Michigan football is for the remainder of the season?
A quarterback?
Yes. And they are saving Jack Tuttle. Okay. This guy, this is his 7th year playing ball. Okay. His 7th year in college. I mean, I got to college in 4 years. I think Sharon Moore is saving him. We got a lot of season ahead of us. I don't know if he's going to break him out at Washington. It's a tough place to play. But you just keep looking for Jack Tuttle. But let's move on to the markets here. Adam Mesh, Trading Group. Adam, we had Mr. Powell yesterday. We had a nice end of the quarter rally. Do you have any trading strategies for the end of the quarter, new month, or what's on your radar?
First of all, I'll say I heard it here first if he does emerge as the quarterback. So thanks. We need one. In terms of, I don't have end of the quarter strategies. I'm pretty consistent with what I'm going to do, which is collecting premium throughout the year. I could talk about where I've been using those strategies, and it's nice. This is my like 4th or 5th time on here, so it's like hopefully people get to know me a little bit and they see what I'm doing. Collecting credits has still been working. A couple of new sectors I got interested in. Nuclear. When we saw the Constellation Energy news with 3 Mile Island opening, there were a lot of stocks that got a pop on that haven't come back down, and the volume's still coming in. And for anyone that didn't hear what was going on, I mean, when we think nuclear, we think bad. We think natural disasters. But apparently nuclear is the most efficient and best way for the environment of harnessing energy. And they're going to use it for data centers. So I've been watching these nuclear stocks to see if we get that follow-up move. And it's the same thing. The last time I was on, remember we were talking about ASTS in the teens. And I was like, I can't stop watching it. And the thing went to 35. It's that same thing when you get a swell of volume, the news dies down, but the volume doesn't. It sets up for a second bigger move. So I'm watching nuclear stocks for that right now, which is...
What was the symbol on the
ASTS, Alpha Sierra Tango Sierra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us some of these nuclear stocks that you're looking at.
So CEG Constellation was the leader, but then we made a list of other ones that could follow up. And the one that I've been watching the most, and I'm not saying to trade it right now, it's crazy, is SMR, New Scale Power. It's an $11 stock that's moving 2 points a day. So it gets my attention. But it's the same strategy with everything. Buying calls. This one you can't sell premium, and this one's a little bit harder to trade. I might trade as a stock. I've been trading as a stock because the options are kind of gapped out. But my typical approach is to come in around selling options going out 30 to 40 days, targeting the 30 delta. So if you were selling a naked put, and that naked put doesn't mean getting short. Naked put means willing to own the stock. If you're selling a naked put, you would target probably the 25 delta. But when we're doing credit spreads, because people don't want to own the stocks, we get a little bit more aggressive to offset the lack of premium collection from, doing credit spreads versus naked. Does that make sense? Sometimes I talk fast.
Yep.
No, it does.
Yep.
I want to make sure, for your audience, I just want to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, they love the options talk.
Yeah.
So what other plays here?
All right. So my best play recently, and this is the benefit of why I build a community. It's literally mutually beneficial. It's just like being on here. We're talking, sharing ideas. So it was someone in my community was like, keep an eye on NEO. This was pre-China going ballistic and everything.
Right.
NEO was at 5 and change. So I was like, all right, volume looks good. And we bought a $5 November 15 strike for like $1. And literally in less than 2 weeks, those options were trading at 240. So was that like 140% return in 2 weeks? So that's like when you could get in and literally only risk $1 per contract, knowing that's the most you could lose. And then you have upside where you can make 140% in a couple of weeks. That's what I love about options. It's kind of mindless. Your risk is defined and the upside's good. Now, I will say I messed up a little bit in NEO. We have some calls that we own with nothing against them. But when it stalled for the first couple of days, I said, if it stalls for a couple of days, we're going to sell premium against it. So we sold above it. So we're a little bit capped on the upside for part of the position, but it still worked out well.
Adam, I got a question about a stock. Have you ever traded NNE, or have you heard about that from anyone in your group? This is one of the nuclear stocks that gets passed around all the time, ticker NNE.
I haven't, but I'll add it to my list right now. I'm a big list builder.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Nano nuclear, it's a wild child. I've
Yep.
seen it in my filter, but I've never traded it either. So I have scanners that are scanning certain stocks, and then I have scanners that are scanning the entire market just looking for movers. This one pops in there all the time, but I've never actually made a trade on it here. It is wild. This thing moving you're talking about $2 a day, $14 a stock. Like this thing was up at $17 2 days ago. Then it's down to 13. Now it's back at 14. This thing's a little wild child.
In essence, we're really just surfers looking for good waves. Like, hey, it's like,
what a
hey,
great analogy.
have
What
you
a
ever
great
been down to
analogy.
Mexico? You got to try the one in Mexico. Oh, you'll catch some good ones. Go to California. That's what it is. Like NME, go for a ride. And I think if you know how to trade the right way and your risk parameters are efficient, you can trade almost anything. Obviously, there's certain things. If there's a lack of volume, the only thing we want to avoid is a lack of liquidity. So my first thing, whenever anyone tells me about a stock, I'll start to watch it because I want to get used to the speed of the move. Kind of like the old knights if they're running a gauntlet, right? You know how you watch it for a little bit before you go? Same thing here. I want to watch it, see how it's moving. And then I just want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get in and out. The only thing I don't like is if someone, like, I won't trade a stock where I feel like I could buy it and then there's no exit, especially with the options. When the options market spreads out to $1, so you get the move, but you can't get out, that bothers me. So I try to avoid that.
What are your volume thresholds?
Volume, I like the stock to be trading in the millions. The options, I want to see the spread together and stay together. So sometimes you'll see a spread, like if it's moving one day there, but then the next day it gaps out. So usually I watch a stock for a couple of weeks before I trade it for the first time, unless like I just itching to get in, and then I'll get in small. But what I tend to do is I get to know stocks well, and then once I feel comfortable, then I could be more aggressive. So when I look at my list right now, things I've been trading over and over, like JMIA is a stock that was a $13 stock. It's like the Amazon of India.
Yeah.
It went down to $4. Like, I know how this moves. I know I could get in and out. I've collected 50 cents credit on a $5 stock, which is unbelievable. So I traded that 3 or 4 times. Palantir, I love. Know how that moves. Traded that a lot. Neo now. The Russell I'll trade. Uber. So.
Are you usually primarily through options, Adam, or do you ever get down dirty and actually trade the stocks too?
So I was just looking at my screen. The SMR, I bought the option first. And so what I'll do for my community is a lot of times I'll get in first. It's not like I'll get in and I'll recommend it 5 minutes later. I'll get in and trade a stock for a couple of weeks.
Feeling it out.
I feel like I know it, then I'll start putting trades on it. So SMR, I bought the options and it had that gap out where it was like, it went up, but the spread was like $1 by $1.50. And I was like, oh. So then I started trading the stock instead there because I just
the option
like
spread's just too wide.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes the market makers just want to like take it for way too much on some of these options where it's, Joel talks trade by appointment only. Sometimes these options are trade by appointment only on some of these smaller stuff. So you really got to watch the spread, folks. Great point by Adam.
And Dennis, I'll tell you, in terms of stocks, I just think it's 2 different mindsets. Like I had a separate account that did really well where I just kind of bought stuff and I didn't even open it for like weeks at a time or months at a time, like a buy and hold kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a different strategy for myself. When I wake up and I'm sitting down, I'm going to be more active. So it's harder to hold something.
Yeah.
If your strategy is to be more short-term, but would I mind selling a put in Amazon and taking ownership of the stock at a much lower price? No, something like that. But that's not for what I do with people. It's much more active.
Yeah, and it seems like you're trading the active stocks too, like the storied stocks that are moving, volume spikes, so liquidity is probably there for you to get in and out of them easily. I mean, there's this is what day traders look for is action, right?
Yeah, so it's not day trading. I was a day trader for over 10 years. More like swing, like weeks, a couple weeks, maybe going out a month. If I'm doing the diagonal calendars with options, I'll go out a couple months. And then my ideal thing is if I could have the volume without news correlating. Like the nuclear, it came out, so I'm going to ease in because I missed that first move. So everything's smaller as it consolidates. But my favorite thing is like the Neo. Neo is kind of trending before China stocks went nuts, and then it came out with the news. So like if you could identify, like you said, you're always looking around for the movers. If you could find the volume coming in before the news, those are more fun plays for me.
Adam, just along the lines of Neo here, talk about the China move and how you're approaching it. Definitely a big move. How you're besides Neo, you're looking at any other stocks. China, big rally. I saw Kyle Bass kind of downplaying it. He gets stuck with 30% rally. It's hard to chase. Any comments on the recent rally in China?
Well, I think it's weird when they say it's kind of like obvious what's going to happen, and it does happen. Like with everything in American markets, it's usually like not that easy. Like remember, we thought the market was going to get really hit on Brexit, but it didn't. And elections, everything kind of goes opposite of what you expect in a lot of things. But with China, it's kind of like you knew it was coming, it happened, and then it rallied. And it's weird how transparent it was. That was my only take on that. Was like I'm trained to be skeptical of everything, and that just seemed like an easier move that I just kind of missed.
Do you have any plan for some of these Chinese names when they get off Golden Week, their holiday that they're currently on right now?
What's Golden Week? I don't even know that.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what encompasses all of their holidays either, but I know they're on a market holiday right now for the rest of the week. So we're likely to see less participation here. I'm just wondering if you expected any type of movement from the stocks when that expires or when that ends.
So I don't. By the way, I'll ask my son. He takes Mandarin, so I could ask him what Golden Week is. And then
we talked about this yesterday, and it was the first time I heard about Golden Week too.
I did a
little bit of research into this Golden Week, though. And
catalyst. You talk about trading in front of catalyst. Could there be any bigger catalyst in China than Golden Week? I mean, it's golden.
Well, there's a reason that we hadn't heard about it, because actually the exchange is only closed for one day, apparently. So they talk about this Golden Week, the whole week being closed, but apparently the exchange is only closed for one day. Again, I don't know what you can read. I just did quick research, 10 minutes of research there, but that's what they were saying, is that even though this Golden Week is supposed to be October 1st to 7th, apparently, and again, if I'm wrong, correct me here, but I read that the exchange is only one day.
I think Golden Week would be like cool hats, T-shirts. I'd like to wear like a Golden Week hat and be like, what's Golden Week? I can't tell you. But no, in terms of China, I typically don't trade China stocks because there's a lot of movement overnight because they have different market hours. So their stocks could be much more affected where you come in and you have a wider gap up or down. So I feel like I lose less control. So while I have traded them, it's kind of like oil. I stopped trading oil a long time ago because there were so many random news bites that would make it move in the middle of the day that I was like, forget it. I like something that's a little bit more on path, if that makes sense.
Real quick here, just to kind of put a bow on this. So we have an insider that's actually in Taiwan, follows a lot of the stuff going on in China here in Benzinga Pro. Shout out to Benzinga Pro. Reminder that Shanghai and Shenzhen stock markets are closed from Tuesday, October 1st through Monday, October 7th. Historically, the government has attempted to prop up the stock market ahead of major holidays, which might have been what we saw here.
And Hong Kong is only closed for one day, so it's
there you
Hong
go.
Kong just flashed on the screen. So Hong Kong only closed for one day, where the rest of the market's apparently closed all week.
What are you guys looking at for port strike plays? I know you were talking about it before.
We were just doing it.
Yeah.
We talked FedEx, UPS. It was from Barron's on the weekend. They cited that this could benefit them because of air freight. So
you're not going to chase anything bearish because, right?
Yeah. So they think this is good for FedEx and UPS. These were the two stocks that they were citing to benefit. They thought the rails could suffer from it. So this was all from the Barron's article. They did a pretty nice job on it. FedEx is trading up $2 here this morning. So it's showing that Barron's is probably right, that this is obviously, impacting those. UPS is up slightly as well. And I do see the rails trading slightly down on it. We got NSC trading down at Buck Norfolk Southern. So it looks like FedEx, UPS benefit, maybe rails suffer to a certain extent.
Wonder if there's any like outside the box drone plays or anything like that.
Drone delivery. Now that would be something.
That's the future, right?
Yeah, that's coming, man. I'm telling you, that's coming. I love my AV. You want a stock to trade? AV. I have this in my long-term portfolio. Now they're doing warfare drones, but they could get into other stuff here too. I mean, this company makes the coolest stuff. If you actually go to their site, AeroVironment, and you watch one video on their warfare drones, you're just like, this is just incredible. The stuff that they're coming up with is just unbelievable. So actually, this is one of the bigger positions in my long-term portfolio, and I'm sticking with it. This is a cool story and a cool stock to trade. A little thin to trade sometimes. You go sometimes a buck wide, so it's not like super liquid. It's not a story that a lot of people talk about. But you want a drone play, warfare drones, AVAV.
Maybe like a Palantir kind of story where it comes out with the technology that translates beyond warfare into everyday environment.
I think so. I think it could.
Oh, someone just mentioned Zim.
Shipping. Sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Zim.
they're getting hit. Yeah, they're getting hit on it, obviously. That's an obvious one. So, yeah, thank you. Zim actually has been rallying, too. We're talking Zim integrated shipping, Zebra IM. $16, $26 in September. It's getting hit here this morning.
Doesn't it have that the one with this like crazy dividend?
Yeah, the dividend is based off their profits. So if they do really well, you get a gigantic dividend from this.
Yeah.
I'll bring up one more fun outside the box idea.
Yeah.
This is going out in the future, though. This isn't near term. So I was having a kind of this is like what we're doing now. I just kind of end up doing every day. We're talking about like the next NVIDIA. Like, where could the next NVIDIA be?
Ooh, I like this.
And someone brought up super quantum. They said we're not there yet, but like that could be the future. I don't know if you guys have ever discussed that or anything. I'm like starting to watch, like, because I feel like there's so many people that are like, you either hear a story about one of your buddies that owned NVIDIA that made a lot of money, or you just feel like you missed it. And now I'm like on the hunt for the next NVIDIA. You know,
I think so. So what's the play? What is it? The stock?
Super quantum. It's supposed to be like.
What's the symbol?
What's the ticker?
No, it's the technology.
Oh, the technology.
It's technology.
So is this like QUBT and QBTS or whatever?
QBTS, IONQ, and then
gotcha.
And then after they told me about it, so what I did with IONQ was I just sold a put just to start watching it, and then they signed like a $54 million deal last week, and so it shot up $1.50. I think they said it's years away, and so it's just starting to watch these things. I want to be able to have this recorded on here. And so, like, if years from now, super quantum explodes, I'm just putting it out there into the universe in a bunch of places so I could get credit one day.
That's smart.
This is a pretty good place to do it. All right, we've been on the line with Adam Mesh. Adam Mesh Trading Group joins us here, part of T3 Tuesday. Great extended segment, Adam. It's always a pleasure having you on. We'll be dialing you up again real soon. Yeah,
thank you so much. And I think we have for the first time, usually I'm just doing free interviews, but I think we have a link to send out. It's right there in the QR code. So that was when I got my company back, I took all my services with me and I put them into one. And so now we have all the people that came over with me, but now we're starting to let new people in, which has been cool. And that's where I traded Neo, Jemaya, Palantir. So everyone's been happy. It's been going well, lifestyle service, and I'm really enjoying it. I get good ideas from it too. So hopefully meet some new people on here. That'd be great.
That sounds great.
You.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome stuff, Adam. All right. That was awesome. And yeah, I have all those links in the chart there for Adam. We really appreciate it. Here you go. Adam Mesh, CEO of the Adam Mesh Trading Group. All right, we doing ticker time? What do we got? You want to preview night?
Well, first of all, we never talked about pumping. Did we talk about pumping Powell at all? Very little. No, I guess no one wants to talk
really. I mean, we
him.
kind of opened with the SPY. Your monologue was about Powell. Maybe we should go to Powell.
Just quickly. I mean, no preset course. Keeping an eye on inflation. I really didn't say anything much. I mean, there was a nice sell-off and then a nice turn, and then you had the imbalances. So,
you're thinking that yesterday's turn was pumping Powell commentary there around 1 o'clock.
Because of the timing. Yep. We got some other Fed speakers today. The other thing I want to alert our traders, investors, I mean, there's some funky numbers, Jolt openings at 10 a.m., Fed Bostic and Cook speech at 11 a.m., ISM manufacturing. I mean, they find a reason to move the market like 10,
Fed's
15 handles on that. So keep an
Fed
eye out
speak has
for
never
those.
moved the market as much as it does right now. Everybody
Mhm.
wants the course. They
Yep.
want to know what they're thinking. Is there two more? Are they another 50 in store? Which doesn't sound like it when we're hearing from Powell. It sounds like a couple more 25s. But I mean, any type of dovishness or hawkishness, will be market moving. So keep in mind those speakers. Boston can move markets. Don't kid yourself. It's not just Powell. Nike is due to report here tonight. A lot of people are going to be looking at this report because we know the big hire, the potential turnaround story here. How's it going? What's it look like? I mean, the stock has come back from the absolute gutter, $70. Now we're looking at an $88 stock. So the bar comes up a little bit here. The funny thing with Nike is, it was kind of a value play all the way down, but the earnings were just coming down, just as much as the stock was. So the PE has kind of stayed the same. I keep thinking you're going to see, oh yeah, Nike trading 10 times earnings. You're not going to find that because the earnings have come down substantially as well. It's 29 times forward earnings here right now. So it is just not a cheap stock. It's never been a cheap stock. It's just the stock has gone down. It looks cheap relative to where it was. But again, that's because the earnings have come down too. Is there a Nike turnaround story here? I'll throw it to you guys.
Well, I'll start here. We talk about Nike all of the time. Really, as far as the chart goes, Joe's looking at it right now. My question is do we actually break above 90, fill the gap to the upside, or do we continue to break down and then fill that gap between 85 and I think it's 83 and a half? So it's going to be one or two of those gaps. Now, as far as Nike goes, one of the things that I've been hearing is that their product just isn't as hot anymore. It isn't the shoe that everyone is going after. And I talked to shoe collectors about that, who actually says China has some pretty good products and some pretty good shoe brands. So we've talked a lot about Hoka being on now and On shoes, ticker ON. We've talked a lot about those. I'm not sure what's in store for Nike. I think we're going to fill a gap. Question is which direction?
Both.
Okay,
Both.
here we go. Let's go.
Yeah. On the upside here, you get into that gappy area above 90.62. The gap fill there, not too far away, 93.39. And then the gap that Ryan's referring to, if you breach 85, 83.12 is the fill the gap from the high on the 19th, but really in the middle of nowhere. Made that low of the move, was real sleepy for a while and broke out. So we'll see what it reports. But there is, this ON. I know people have been talking about that one. Yeah, I got to try those out. I need a new pair of runners. I might go. I might go check those out. Let's just look.
I need a new pair of Birks. My Birks broke in half. I've just overworn them. I wear them every day, everywhere I go for like 8 months straight. And the one after like 2 years is now like broken in half. I really wore it right through. So, and I hate paying
those things last forever. Dennis, I got one question though. Do you wear them with socks?
No, I wouldn't be opposed to it because I don't care what I look like. I think everybody knows that with my hairdos and that on the show. I'm the one person that absolutely cares nothing what I look like. So it would not embarrass me to go out there with the socks, but I typically don't because I don't like socks. That's the main reason that I wear the Birks is that you can actually go to a nice restaurant. And when you're in Birks and your sandals, you actually don't look like you need dress shoes. I mean, you can't go to like the fanciest restaurant ever, but you go to decent places with Birks on and you don't look like, like you just came off the street. So I love my Birks and I don't like wearing socks. So I try to go as long as I can. It's October here now.
I agree.
I know the weather's going to get cold. I'm going to have to retire the Birks for the season, and breaking in half last week's probably the time to do it.
All right, it's 9:01 here in pre-market prep land, and we are down 475, right around mid-range on the session. You got some good numbers on the upside because Monday's high is right there with Tuesday. Well, the current high 22.50. That nestles in at right with the current high at 20 and a quarter. I gave you guys that all-time high. That's up at 58.30. So we'll see. So far, a quiet day holding on to those big gains from yesterday. Triple D, you got in. Triple D and Ryan. Ryan, fantastic job today filling in for AB. We really, really appreciate it. And I'll let you guys, I'll get our guests for tomorrow. And then we'll let you guys, I'll pull that up. You guys give our final comments and I'll give our guest out for tomorrow.
Okay, well, my final comment, first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be called up to the A team anytime. The other thing is I warned Aaron yesterday. I said, you better bring home a Lions win or don't come home. Looked like he wanted to come home, so Lions with a big victory there. As far as what's going on here today, I kind of want to see if this market's going to pick a direction. I know we're hanging out here beneath all-time highs. Give me a direction. Give me something to trade. Let's see if Coinbase bounces today for a potential recapture of the 200.
Triple D, I will.
I think we're just going to be more chop. Obviously, this market's trying to find direction. It's a headline-driven market here right now, so watch out for the Fed speak. We can see simply, that this morning the S&Ps are fine, Qs, and then Apple, Barclays harpoons the market. So we are in a headline-driven market where you got to pay attention to the headlines. They move price. I mean, people talk about, charts. People talk about a lot of other things. What moves price the most is headlines. That's why have your Benzinga Pro. Have your open. You need a good news source, folks. If you're going to be a full-time trader and you are just trading off of charts, I think it's a really tough gig. I think you've got to do the combo approach. Use charts, but also know that when news breaks, charts, will tell you where you're going. But I mean, again, direction is dictated by the news.
All right, Jim Tassoni will be joining us tomorrow at 8:35, folks. So everyone have a good day. Back with you tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds good. Folks, I will see you guys on live trading next. Stick around. Take care. Thanks again, Joel and Dennis.